This is our last drill of the series, and for this one we went ahead and we picked a classic, USPSA Classifier 9911, El Presidente. It's a pretty famous drill. It's gone all the way back to the 1970s. So with that, the whole reason we're doing this series is that you can see how you stack up against other people. And what better way to do that? With USPSA, now you can see how you stack up against other competitors across the country. USPSA Classifier 9911, El Presidente. Your starting position for this drill is going to be in your shooting box, toes touching the line. Facing uprange, wrists above shoulders, on buzzer, you will then turn around, draw, and engage each target with 2 rounds each. Perform a mandatory reload, then re-engage each target again with 2 rounds each. For this, you probably don't have a 3-foot by 3-foot shooting box, so just set up a stick at the 30-foot mark and the 33-foot mark, 10 yards and 11 yards, and that'll work. Stick, line on the ground, paint it, doesn't matter, just make sure your dimensions are correct. Target setup for this drill. You'll have 3 targets, each spaced 1 yard apart, from edge to edge of the targets. Your shooting box will be centered up on the middle target at 10 yards away. Scoring for this is going to be just like our other 5 drills. USPSA minor scoring. That means your A zones are going to be worth 5 points, your C zone here is worth 3, and your D zone is going to be 1 point. Any misses that you have on targets is going to be minus 10. Remember, add up your points, divide it by your time, and then you'll get your hit factor. We need to have that down in the description to be able to calculate your scores. Once you're done, post to Instagram, send it to us, whatever, but make sure you collaborate so we can put you on the tracker and make sure we get it. Prize table. We've had some awesome prize tables the previous months, and this one is no exception. So, Leupold, giving away one of their DP Pros. Vertx, $500 gift card, bags, jackets, everything you want. Agonic, one of our EDB belts that you'll get. And then also, BAER Solutions Wojtek belt. And this one will actually be our new version 2 that we're releasing shortly. On top of that, 2 Feathers Productions, giving away a knife, and Staccato with a $500 gift card, and then Surefire with an XC3. So compete, have fun, get up there, and enjoy. Why the El Presidente? Well, 1, it's a famous drill, okay? But 2, like we said, we want you to be able to compare yourselves to others. So we needed a drill that was minimal targets, 3 targets, no more than that, a stand and shoot that most people can set up, and it's very accessible to a lot of people. And the El Presidente was one of the few USPSA classifiers that are current that fit that. So to give you a little background, if you look at the scoring for limited optics and carry optics, a limited optics GM run in this is just slightly above 10 hit factor. A carry optics run is just slightly below 10 hit factor. And then your master class is going to be roughly 9 hit factor and above, and then A class is going to be roughly 8 hit factor and above. So as you run this, you guys understand that you're going to run it 20, 30, 40 times. A lot of people are going to do that, and they're going to post their best. And absolutely, it's a challenge, it's a competition, do that. That's just part of it. However, when you're comparing yourselves to these guys or these shooters, professional shooters, men, women, whoever, that are shooting it around the country, understand that they don't get 20 warm-up runs to do that. Their classifier run might be their first run of the day with no warm-up, or it might be their second or third stage, and they got to shoot on demand, performance on demand. So you should ask yourself this: can I hold that time 10 out of 10 times, and how consistent am I in that? So that's for your personal learning. Now, if we go back to Jeff Cooper, who created the drill in the 1970s, he created it because he was training a South American presidential detail. And originally the targets weren't 1 yard apart, they were 3. And the way they scored it was 10-second par time, all hits. So it's evolved a little bit over time, but it also pushes us outside of our comfort zone slightly. How many times do you do a turn draw, right? I don't, and that's why we chose this drill, right? I hardly ever do it, and I suck at them, okay? But if you look at that, some of these guys are doing that turn draw in about a second, 1.2 seconds, which is very impressive. So keep that in mind as you're training, and remember, try and use this as a gauge to where you want to get to and how consistent can you be running it. Our first skill is going to be our turn draw. There's 3 main ways to do this. One thing to remember though as you do it is that the gun still cannot break the 180. So as you turn and draw, make sure the gun is not clearing the holster until you've gotten to the point where we're actually facing downrange. So let's go over our first one. Some references for you: Travis Tomasi, Isaac Lockwood, Tim Herron, and a bunch of others have some really good videos on YouTube covering this, and I would highly suggest you go watch theirs. They are much better at this than I am, so check them out. Now, the first way is probably going to be the most popular, and that's going to be where we spin on our firing side heel. So once my toes are touching the line and my wrists are above my shoulders, as I start to look, when I turn my head, I'll start to whip my body around, and looking towards the targets initiates that. I spin off of that heel here, and then I plant so I can take our shots. Now, doing it one more time. Here, shifting my weight so I can feel that heel slightly, wrists above shoulders, stand by, beep, as we come around. The second way to do that is going to be more of an about face, right? So here, instead of planting this foot and heel, once the buzzer goes off, you'll actually step this foot behind the other and then spin around. Tim Herron, in his video, I saw him do this. So looking at that, same thing, wrists above shoulders, stand by, beep. I notice with that one, my weight stays a little bit more centered up, whereas when I spin on my heel, you get a little bit more of that twisting and my weight might start to shift a little bit side to side. So play with that. And then lastly, instead of cheating off to the left part of my box, I'm gonna go to the right. Instead of initiating the movement with my firing side foot, or excuse me, pivoting off the firing side foot, this is gonna be the actual foot that moves. Again, I'm spinning towards my firing side. So as we do this, I'm gonna plant and spin off the left foot, stand by, to right here. So those are your three options. Just remember, when we look, I'm gonna turn my head and look towards the targets. That brings the rest of my body around. Our second skill in this is gonna be how we transition from target to target. Now, this is something that a lot of people talk about, right? There's a lot of stuff out there. I'm gonna kind of break down the timing just a little bit and give you something to think about. So we know we're shooting 2 rounds on each target. So at what point do we move our eyes and then we bring the gun over? Because we all know that eyes lead, gun follows. So let's say the visual, you see this is our sight on the target, bang, shot goes off, bang, shot goes off, right? So what a lot of people do is they go bang, bang, and they oversettle and then they move their eyes with the sight. We know that's wrong because your eyes got to leave first. So instead what we need to do is on that second shot, on the lifting of the second shot, lift, return, lift. As soon as that shot lifts up, lift, return, lip here. When I see that shot lift on the second one, I move my eyes over and then my sights come behind it so that my sights are settling or resetting back onto the next target. One thing that you guys will hear a lot is ride the recoil from one target to the other. And that's a great way to think about it for some people. It's never worked for me. So instead what I do is I reset my trigger onto the next target. I'm not in control of recoil, but I'm trying to manage it. However, I am in control of what my finger does. So for me, when I pull that trigger on the second shot and as I let it out, that's where I'm moving my eyes and I'm resetting that trigger on the next target so that we can shoot again. Our third skill is going to be our reload. Again, a lot of stuff out there in reloads, so I'll give you our 3-step process. So I'm running this from concealment. You guys don't have to. You can run it however you want. Now, first things first, we know that as we come out, here we shoot 2, 2, and 2. Once that last shot goes off, the first thing I'm gonna do is number 1, drop mag, touch mag. 2, pause it, insert, and then 3, send it home and get back on target, okay? Now, one more time. Last shot goes off, boom. 1, drop mag, touch mag. 2, pause it, insert, and 3, send it home. Now, the reason we're saying, let's go cover that step by step. Number 1 is we drop our mag and we touch our mag. At first, that's a great thing to do to put your timing together so everything lines up. Over time, as you get better at it, you'll probably notice that my support hand, whatever my reload hand, the one's grabbing the mag, as it comes down, you might want to make that move quicker than just dropping the magazine, okay? So if we're gonna speed anything up, speed up that next. The second part of that is pause it, insert. Now the reason we do this, there's a great video by Max Michel that they did like, I don't know, like 10 years ago or something, and it's on YouTube, and it shows him doing reloads, and he's got like one of those mag wells on it that looks like, you know, like, so the dog can't, you know, lick its stitches or something like that, like the thing. So he's got a giant mag well on it, he's reloading, it's like he grabs this mag, he just like, he just throws it in there, and you're like, holy crap. And he says, pause at the insert. Well, then they show that same video, you're like, you're not pausing. Then they show that same video, and every time he goes to reload, I don't think he needed the mag well. He pulled it out, you saw him pause, and as soon as that first bullet disappears, then he finishes off what he was doing. So he was still pausing to make sure it's clearing the mag, or clearing the mag well. However, he was doing it so fast, just watching him, you couldn't really see it. So make sure you build that in. And then 3, that's where I say just send it home, ensure the mag is seated, hit your slide release if you need to, and the magazine was empty if that's how you're shooting it, and then get back on target. The main thing that we miss a lot of times is that our grip isn't reestablished and our support hand getting back on the gun. So you want to make sure after you reload, you still have that good position with your hand and it's right back in the same position as it was off your draw and before your reload. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our training portion. So as we go through this, we are going to be shooting the Staccato HD, the 3.6. So we'll see how this goes. All right, bud. It's chilly. All right. Stand by. Holy crap, that was terrible. All right. Little bit all over the place. All right, total time on that was 8:47. That was terrible. So really messed up that reload. So if we look at it, let's go back down. So the reload was a 398, and that really got us, right? Obviously. The Tural was a 185 off of that. And for me, from Consoma, that's probably pretty standard, about 170-ish. I know I need to get it down, especially below 150. So for this next one, let's try and improve that. I'll write that down real quick. So we got 4 alpha, six and 2, and 4 alpha. All right, stand by. All right, let's check that one out. So that time was a 7:12. And we got, oh dude, a delta. Let me do this. 4 alpha, 3 alpha, 1 Charlie. One Charlie. Ooh, that's a line break. 2 Charlie, 1 Delta. All right. First shot was in 176. Let's see what our reload was in. Reload was in a 282. That needs to be sub 2 seconds or somewhere around there. So total time, 7:12. What do we say? 2 alpha, 1 or 2 Charlie, 1 Delta. So 56 minus 4, 52 points. I think on that one, what's getting me is on the draw. There's a little bit of a fumble on it. So this time, instead of just spinning into it like we talked about, let's change it up and let's do that kind of like about face thing that we talked about. And let's see if that improves the time at all. Oh man, my shot sucked. However, 671 time. But we're gonna see those shots open up quite a bit. And I know I've got a few deltas in here. I might even throw a miss on that guy. All right, so that was a 671. Yeah, that first shot wasn't any better. It was in a 170. So, and I don't know how I like that. I feel like there's too many moving parts. So 1 Charlie, 2 Charlie, so 3 Charlie, whoa, 4 Charlie and a mic, dude. That one sucked. 4 Charlie and a mic, and a 671. I don't think I'm a fan of this like about face thing. It just felt awkward, you know what I mean? So this time, let's try that third style of doing it, where I pivot off this foot and just come around here. Stand by. All right, that was 702. That didn't feel bad. 702. First shot is still 174. So I don't know if there's much of a difference between them. 1 Charlie. Oh, 1 Delta. That was on the second one. Yeah, dude. So that one was after the reload coming across. I was rushing this one. I saw this guy hit. And then 1 Charlie. Stand by. All right, that was a 695. First one is in 168. So first shot was in 168. The reload was in 273 and 695. So running it before, I was sitting around 650s, 670s, was probably pretty consistent. So let's look at our hits. So 4 Alpha, oof. 1 Alpha, 2, 3 Charlie. So 4 Charlies total. I think that for me, just not overthinking it. I don't think I like that about face thing. I don't think I like the whole like spinning with the opposite foot. I think just spinning on the heel, I think that's probably why most people do it, right? It seems the most comfortable, and I feel like if I just do it that way, maybe it's because that's because of how I practiced it. But I feel like if I do it that way, that typically feels the best. So we're gonna do it one more time because I want to. Let's see if we can get it around 650. Stand by. Yep, so that was a 689. And let's see what happens. A little bit off to the right. Oh, all those were tracking off to the right. Well, sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days. So 2 Delta, 4, 5 Delta, 6 Delta. I think it's one of those days, man. I didn't want to add that one up, but let's see what the other ones look like. So first time I ran this yesterday, it was sitting around 650 to like 670 with usually around 1 to 3 Charlies, right? I think I ran it probably 6 or 7 times yesterday. Today, not so much, right? So some days just have bad days, man. Kind of seem like today's one of them. So 56 points, 847. So we look at that. We started off, our first one was a 6.6115 hit factor. The second time we did it, 52 points and 712. We had a 7.3033 hit factor. Third run, 42 points. That's where we had the mic. So 6.71 time. However, that minus 10 points dropped us down quite a bit to a 6.2593. Fourth run, 52 points with a 7.02 time and 7.407 hit factor. And then the fifth run, I didn't even count the sixth run, just the fifth run, 56 points and a 695, 8.0692. And that one's not bad, right? So with that said, if you're looking at this, that 10 hit factor, that's gonna be all 60 points. So that's 12 alphas, right? All 60 points in 6 seconds. So if you can do that, if you're shooting right at 6 seconds and getting all hits, that's a 10 hit factor, man. And that's pretty darn good. So let us know what you think, post your times, and yeah, see how it goes. Let's do our gear breakdown next. Let's go ahead and start off with what we're shooting today. Now, we are shooting the new Staccato HD, the 3.6. Again, I've only got about 250 rounds to this thing. We zeroed it yesterday. I shot this drill a couple times yesterday and then came out and did it again today. With that said, so far, I don't know if that's enough rounds to really have an opinion on it. However, I really like it so far. It feels good. So one thing I like is the grips, especially for the concealed carry aspect, how they taper down. The stippling on it feels really nice, right? So other than that, man, it just shoots, it kind of shoots like it's a bigger gun, if that makes sense. And we know a lot of the guns out there, the smaller it gets, the kind of more, you know, impulse, recoil impulse that you feel, everything else, they hit a little bit harder. This one doesn't. And I don't know how it's just how they have it sprung or whatever it is. However, it shoots really nice. We'll keep talking about it as we go along. I'll keep running it. But for right now, initial impressions, couple hundred rounds, feel pretty good about it. And I like it quite a bit. Other than that, TXC holsters run their Covert series, carrier or holster and mag carrier side by side. Glock magazines with the DOS Precision base pads, auto engineering noise barriers for their hearing protection, Leupold sunglasses, and Vertx jacket and pants. Shot timer, Shooters Global, this thing's been great. And then lastly, for our concealed carry belt, we're running the Agonic belt. So if you guys aren't familiar with this, it comes as a one size fits most, about 50 inches. Just cut it in the middle, not on the stitching. Give yourself a couple extra slots, cut it in the middle, and then just burn the end. I've had this for a couple of years now. It runs really good, stainless steel belt buckle. The thing that sets it apart though is it's got a little bit of stretch to it. So it's not as hard on your hips, and you know, you don't sound like some old Jewish lady, you know what I'm saying? We're like, oh, my sciatica. It's a little bit more comfortable. So Mitch and I designed this together. And then lastly, our patent pending concealed carry placard. So your clips actually go on this and your belt goes on top or around the front. That way your clips are hidden. And you can move this wherever you want. I run appendix, so I run it across this way behind the buckle and then loop it through and just put the belt on. So really comfortable there. Other than that, man, that's pretty much it. Training journal, and I think that's all. Hey, have fun shooting the drill, do your best, submit your scores, and have a good time.
Hey, Drew.
Yeah, man.
Relax.
Hey, dude. Oh, like Joel said, let me relax my dumb face and see what happens. All right. USPSA classifier 9911. Started thinking about my hands in my pockets. Look at that. Other than that, Merry Christmas and me. Let me do that again.